That's right. Back at it again. Full custom hot dog here. And we're doing another Blu-ray review. That's right. We're going to be talking about the 1990 film, The First Power, directed by Robert Resnikoff, who you don't hear from too much these days. This was one of the last things he did. I mean, I don't mean on this earth, career-wise. He wrote and directed this, and that's it. Never again. So, don't know why. This is a pretty solid film, even though it has a 35 Metascore according to Metacritic. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Anyways, let's talk about the Blu-ray released by Kino, Lorber. It is not one of their Kino Lorber Studio Classics line, which is very surprising, but it is what it is. So, what that means is you don't get the block lettering on the side, which I think is kind of boring. So I'm actually kind of glad they did this in the normal way. You've got the first power on the spine, but at the same time, like, now this doesn't blend in with my Kino Lorber films. I organize all my movies by the distributors, and this is going to stick out like a sore thumb, so god damn it. God damn it. So anyways, we've got brand new interviews on this disc, with one with Lou Diamond Phillips and the other with Jeff Kober. Very great. They both seem to love talking about this movie. Lou Diamond Phillips especially, I think that interview is like 30 minutes long. He talks about how the first power was originally called Transit, not just because it was originally set in the New York City subway system, but also because of the killer's ability to switch bodies and overcome death, beyond death, and so he was transiting. He was a transient man. Pretty neat little tidbit there. Jeff Kober's interview is pretty good as well. He opens up a lot. I think he talked a little bit about faith and stuff, which I always think is kind of interesting. He's great as a killer, by the way. But anyways, this disc is a B. Those new interviews are great. I am glad to have them. Besides that, though, there's not much else on this disc. You got a trailer as well, but that's neat and all. But, you know, I want more. Especially because there's a ending that got deleted. I'm assuming that's just out in the ether and no one knows where or something. Or probably in bad shape. But there was an original ending that was shot, and then the studio believed in this movie so much due to such positivity in the test screenings, they gave it more money to shoot a new ending, and that ending is pretty good, but I don't like how the very end, the tippy top of the ending, is sequel bait. Because immediately after, my family said, alright, where's part 2? And they did sequel bait because they wanted to do a whole series of this, which would be interesting. I don't know if it'd necessarily be good. Patrick Channing, who's the main villain, played by Jeff Kober, is a fantastic villain. Genuinely scary, creepy. He was loosely based on Richard Ramirez, who was on trial during the shooting of this film, and it kind of shows there's a genuine creepiness that Channing, or Jeff Kober, brings to the table here that really sells. He's a fantastic killer. So anyways, what's this movie about? Well, a dedicated, and this is according to IMDb, these aren't my words, a dedicated LA police detective and a female psychic must stop a demonic serial killer who was given the powers of recreation. I want those powers of recreation. He was given the powers of resurrection, teleportation, and possession. And that's pretty true. That's pretty on point. The real meat of it, though, is that Lou Diamond Phillips' character, Russell Logan, takes Patrick Channing and ends up, putting him in jail when he was just a mere mortal. And then he ends up, Patrick Channing ends up dying. And really getting into Lou Diamond Phillips' head in a genuinely creepy way. There's a lot of great scenes that sets it up. So you've got a very strong horror angle. And then you bring in some of the cop stuff where he's kind of figuring out that these killings are still happening and to cops. And now he's got to figure out what's the deal. He teams up with this psychic. And so, yes, we're in the horror territory, but there's a lot of action. Lou Diamond Phillips wiles out with the gun frequently. And there's some crazy car chase scenes, some crazy action fight scenes. This movie is pretty well packed with a ton of different stuff. You get psychic freakouts.
Mommy! No, Grandpa, no! Grammy! You're the biggest job ever!
Bubba Gump.
Pan fried, deep fried, stir fried. There's pineapple shrimp.
A crazy bag lady.
Don't you think I look pretty, Logan?
Lou Diamond Phillips getting that gun kicked out of his hand like a million times. Okay, maybe that last one doesn't count, but it might be time to invest in like a wrist strap or a lanyard for your gun. So this movie is packed. Jeff Kober plays an excellent villain. Probably, I don't want to say one of my favorite villains in horror history, but he is fantastic. There's a scene well, number one, you aren't too sure what his powers are, right? You just know, okay, he can travel around. And he almost comes off as Freddy Krueger, except he doesn't have to worry about your bedtime. There's a scene where he pulls a fan from the ceiling and then is able to power it and go after our two heroes, which is one of the coolest things I've seen. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. But his powers are almost immeasurable, as he could be anywhere, at any time, at any place, and even worse, anyone. Pretty great, and keeps you on your toes. So I can easily recommend this movie. I can recommend this movie to you more than Metacritic can, because they can't, because they gave it a terrible score. Unnecessary. But anyways, those are my thoughts on The First Power, a film that I really do like, and it almost feels like it's one miscasting or one mis-crew hiring from being a total train wreck. Because the idea of the film is almost loosey-goosey, where you just have a killer that can do anything. And I feel like in the wrong hands, any hands, whether it be the cast or the crew, I think this movie would have fallen apart completely. But everything here is so on point and so done, it is done so tightly and so well that it's what you get at the end is great. So check out The First Power. If you haven't seen it, I can highly recommend it. If you are thinking about buying this Blu-ray, Kino Lorber has had it on sale, I think for less than $10. At 10 or less, it's absolutely worth it and a no-brainer. Add it to your collection. It's a fun, solid watch, even on rewatches. It's a great film. So, anyways, thank you all for watching. I am your host, Full Custom Hot Dog. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm Full Custom Hot Dog without the last O, because it is just too long for Twitter. So thank you all for watching, and until next time.